Greetings YouTube viewers and welcome to another video on the Ian Bullock channel. It is Friday the 16th of July 2021, about 10:30 in the morning, and this morning we're in Brockenhurst in Hampshire, and Brockenhurst is apparently the largest village in the New Forest which we're visiting at the moment. It's a most beautiful sunny day, as you can see. It's quite a picturesque village we have here. Brockenhurst. I think we're about sort of 14 miles from Southampton, 14 miles from Bournemouth, and we thought we'd do a little video of the New Forest. We've only just arrived, but what's interesting is there is this ford here. The river starts over here and then, as you can see, it goes across the road. I should think this is probably almost permanently flooded apart from in very, very dry weather. And then it continues over at that bridge on the other side, and in the time we've been here quite a few cars have gone over it, so I'm hoping there's one now coming. Actually, you'll be able to see what happens. Going down into the water and then out again. We've just got here and we were told that this village has ponies and horses roaming around in it, but we haven't actually seen a single horse yet, so hopefully we'll see more of those as we go on. I'm just going to cross the road because I want to show you this is where the river comes across onto the road with this depth post thing that shows you the depth of the water, and then I'm going to come across here. This is where the cars go down, and then I'll show you the water on the other side. There's a lady sitting here.
I want my breakfast.
So the New Forest, what can I tell you about that? 1079, I believe it was, William the Conqueror declared that this 71,000 acres of forest down here in the south of England should become, I think he called it his Nova Foresta, or it's listed as that in the Domesday Book. It was set aside by William the Conqueror for his exclusive use as a hunting ground, mainly for deer, by himself and his officers, or the officers of his court. And it's now a huge tract of heathland and forest countryside across the Hampshire, mainly the Hampshire area, I believe, which is under the management of Forestry England. And as you'll note from the video here today, it's just the most fantastic weather. July, very, very warm, pure blue sky. And yeah, so we're at Brockenhurst Ford in the New Forest. I'm hoping that someone will come across here in a moment. Yeah, there's a car just coming down now to go through the ford. So the water continues across the road under that bridge and then goes onto the other side there. There's a little white car, I think, just coming through. Goodness, that's quite high speed, that one. So we're at the New Forest, July 2021. And so far we haven't seen any wandering ponies here in the New Forest. I've found some pony poo in the car park. And what we have noticed is that the properties here, this house for example, have these cattle grid, horse grid things, which I'm assuming prevent the ponies from coming onto your property. All of them seem to have them. Probably quite a good idea, but hopefully some horses will appear in this video as we go on through the New Forest. So we're still in Brockenhurst at the moment on this beautifully sunny morning. It's a very busy place, and of course is incredibly well located for the New Forest. The forest is right here on the doorstep really, with all the outdoor activities and things that people can do. Loads of cyclists around at the moment, obviously about to go off on their journeys. I read somewhere that Brockenhurst has been described as the most beautiful place in Britain to live. Seems like a very busy, attractive place. There's lots of little shops, the butchers, a baker, post office, all sorts of things. I also read that in 2019 apparently a property survey showed that the New Forest, or living in the New Forest, is apparently the most expensive national park to live either near to or in the country, with property prices averaging £643,000. That was a couple of years ago. So yes, it's an interesting little place. Not quite as big as we thought it was going to be. We've only really discovered this main street, which is probably it really, apart from the residential areas. But a few little shops and bits and pieces, 2 or 3 cafes. We've just been in the Buttery tea rooms. An award-winning baker's shop here, the best in Hampshire. I'm just making my way down this street. Really, if ever there was an argument for making a street traffic free, I think it would be this one that leads down to the ford, which was at the start of my video. Incredibly busy street. I'm not quite sure how it could be pedestrianised, but it would certainly benefit from being made traffic free. So the ford is just down there, and then if I take you back here, you'll see the main kind of high street of Brockenhurst. Apparently it was named Brockenhurst after one of 4 Saxon manors listed in the Domesday Book, one of which was called Brockenhurst, I believe. Brockenhurst. So that's Brockenhurst here in the New Forest, and we're now going to venture deeper into the forest to see whether we can find any of these ponies. Mum and Dad just walked past me actually, and the little girl said, "Where are the ponies, Mum?" And her mum said, "Oh, I think maybe they might be resting." So obviously someone else who was hoping to see horses wandering around this little village. We haven't actually seen any so far, but we're hoping to discover more as we make our way into the forest itself. So it's almost midday now, and we are out in the New Forest. Nova Foresta, as William the Conqueror called it when he declared it his new hunting forest. And the big news is that we have some New Forest ponies grazing out on this kind of Breckland area, HeathLand. A lovely, lovely blue sky, and we've just stopped the car actually in an illegal place. I'll just show you around here. Lots of open countryside. That's our little Fiat 500L with Mrs. Bullock inside. We're just going to stop here so I can film the horses before we go deeper into the actual New Forest. As you can see, lovely blue sky and the ponies there at the bottom of the picture. So we're going to carry on now into the New Forest on this, I think it's called an ornamental drive, which weaves its way across the New Forest, hopefully showing us the highlights. So we've just stopped again actually because we found this little pony, because the other ponies we saw seemed quite tall, and as you can see Mrs. B is here along with the car. She says hello Hillary, which is what she says in a lot of the videos. So we've got this little pony here in the New Forest, and I'm just going to go across here because over here among all the mud we've discovered these, well I think they're Highland cattle, I'm not really sure, grazing in this pond, grazing and drinking from the pond. It's quite windy, so you may get a little bit of wind noise just until I come round here. Just going to come round here, then you'll be able to see hopefully the cattle grazing in this pond in the shade underneath these trees. I think they're Highland cattle. Which I wasn't really expecting, but there's all sorts of wildlife here in the New Forest. And this is obviously like a little oasis beside the road where the cattle can have a drink at the side of this heathland. We're just actually in the depths of the New Forest here, and I've just stopped just for a moment, just to record, and that's our car, but just to record the forest here. Really thick and dense and shady, but the most beautiful day, July 2021. People are wandering around on the paths, and we're going to carry on with our journey now deeper into the New Forest. So it's 20 to 1 here in the New Forest, and I just want to show you here, we've stopped in this little glady area in a car park, and like a proper little old couple that we are, we've set up our little camping chairs here, got them out of the car which we brought with us from Norwich, and we're just sitting in this little glady shady area. And the ponies, which were over the far side of that field, have actually now come across and are grazing quite near us. There's this beautiful chestnutty coloured one here, and then one there, and then a couple over there. So we're trying to keep fairly quiet, but it's a really idyllic spot here in the summer sunshine, and the horses are coming closer and closer to us as we sit here. I was saying earlier that you're not allowed to feed the horses or touch them, so you have to kind of keep your distance a little bit. But there are lots of them around now that we've seen, and they all look like quite gentle souls. Okay, so the horses that were grazing near us, they came right up to us actually, really close, and seemed totally oblivious to what we were doing. But I've actually now just come into the woods, they've wandered off. But if I take you through this wood here, you'll see that just through here in the shadows we have some more horses, which are just, I suppose, keeping cool. It's a very hot day, so we've got a little bit of a heat wave going on. So here we have some more horses in the woods here, just minding their own business. Come past. It was so lovely just to sit there on those chairs really quietly and have the horses come up and graze so close to us. There's another one there. Oh, there's one behind it as well. There's 3 in this little group. So yeah, they seem, I suppose they must be quite tame because of the number of tourists who are around. They don't seem particularly bothered about who comes and says hello to them. Well, there's some more coming round from the back of that tree there now. So yeah, lovely ponies in the New Forest in Hampshire in July 2021.